Hey everyone, my name is Joe Schutt, and I'm a real estate agent, realtor down in downtown Boston. And I wanted to bring to you today a little bit of a tour of Beacon Hill in downtown Boston. Happens to be the neighborhood I live in, and it is actually 1 square mile, about 6,000 people, and just awesome to live in. It's like a little village. Right now, we're starting off at the corner of Mount Vernon Street and Walnut Street. Directly down the street, we're looking at some kind of taller buildings over in downtown Crossing Financial District area. And then straight down where all the green is actually the Boston Common, one of the oldest parks, if not the oldest park, in the United States. Pan back this way a little bit, and we're looking up towards the Nichols House Museum. And if I can get it for you a little bit up here, you can kind of see through the trees. Maybe not so much, but there's a little bit of a gold dome up there, and that's actually the State House. There it is. You can see it right in the middle of the screen. That's actually the Massachusetts State House. Can't go too much closer to that, only because there's a cement mixer, of course, right when I want to start my little tour. Here's another beautiful building here. There's 0 lot lines, so there's not much room between the buildings, if any, most of the time. They're all connected to each other. But in this area, being on the older side, early to mid 1800s, we're looking at gardens out front, which is really pretty. You go to the other side, and you can see that the, hey Ingrid, nice to see you, fellow neighborhoodie. You'll see the other side, the buildings actually come right down to the brick. So there's 0 lot line to the sidewalk as well. Somebody asked about the financial district. You're probably about a 5 to 10 minute walk to that area. Backyards. Yeah, hey Shirley, how are you? Sorry, not much of a backyard in many of these places. Every once in a while you will find one with a garden in the back. That would probably be the size of these front gardens. So if you're ever looking for somewhere that capitalized on brick, as you can see, the sidewalks, a lot of the buildings are all made of brick. Just a really pretty area. All the gas lamps, that, yes, they do run all day long, but it works. It adds the charm of the neighborhood. You'll see a 1-story building across the way over there. That could have been any number of things. A servant's entrance, quarters for the building on the other side. You can get a glimpse of the John Hancock building up there. It's an I.M. Pei building, built in the 60s. And that's over in Back Bay. So again, not too far. Boston's a very, very small city. There's 625,000 people. And there's 23 different distinct neighborhoods. Beacon Hill is probably one of my favorites. Again, it's only 1 square mile, very quaint and charming. A lot of wrought iron. You're right, Shirley, that is small. Our greater metro area is much larger, but the city itself is really tiny. So there's not many standalone buildings in Beacon Hill, but we're going to come up upon one right now. Again, it's got the beautiful cobblestone driveway with the granite going up the middle of it. Lots of granite here, tons and tons of granite. As you can see by this wall, the curbs. Here's a brownstone across the way over here. Beautiful arched entryways, huge, huge windows. This is actually a condo building right here we're looking at right now. And it actually has an elevator, which is rare. Again, another single family over here. All detached. And again, nice cobblestone driveways. So the next area that we're walking down to right now, it's called Louisburg Square. It's an actual private area. It's not maintained by the city. And probably between 7 and 10,000 square foot houses. And those houses can range in price Most of them are single families or turned back into single families at this point. There's, I think, maybe 2 with apartments or condos. And it's got a nice green going right down the middle that's fenced in for those residents. And I would say the houses on here are kind of in the $8 to $15 million range. So there it is. Again, granite into the cobblestones. Beautiful garden in the middle here. And then you have the nice single-family brick row houses, not to be confused with a brownstone. This is actually the street that John Kerry lives on, our Secretary of State. There's the beautiful garden down the middle with the wrought iron fence all the way around it. You can see the nice detail on the wrought iron. And then you have the houses across the other way as well. Really, really quaint and charming. Then across the way you have Pinckney Street. The nice part about this neighborhood, it's a little bit more uniform because the historic guidelines require certain colors, certain materials. Now behind that moving truck, I wish I could show you number 84. It's a beautiful home. It's a second one in, right above the open doors there. And that actually is a single family with an elevator in it, believe it or not. I'm going to cross the street here, make sure I don't get hit. There's one of the old fire pull boxes on a gas lamp as well. Okay. So now we're coming down Willow Street. It's a little tiny connector street. And believe it or not, yes, a car can get down these streets side by side. Tiny, but they can do it. Nice little detail here in this home with the curved staircase going up. Here's a Willow Court. Willow Court gives you nice little access to the back of the buildings. There's a little alleyway here. And I wish the cars weren't parked on the street today, but this is an original cobblestone or a River Rock Street. Has the brick sidewalks again, and the beautiful homes going down. This is Acorn Street. As you can see, there's no parking. It's only street parking for the most part here. There's a little bit of parking on Beacon Street and some on Brimmer and some on Chestnut. Sorry for the shakiness. I'm walking down these rocks right now. And you tend to see a lot of vines as well, kind of going up the side of a lot of the brick around here. The ivy. Yeah, the window boxes are really great. We're coming down to West Cedar Street right now, and you're going to see quite a few of them on this one block. Believe it or not, the neighbors do get a little pushy when they want the window boxes done of their fellow neighbors. So here's West Cedar, and you have some red doors, great shutters, just beautiful architecture, and you'll notice that each of the window boxes are all done. So we're going to take a moment here and pop down to Chestnut Street. Once we take a right on Chestnut, we'll be at the historic Charles Street. And that's where all of our shops are, a lot of local shops mostly. Very dog friendly. My dog wishes, my little schnauzer Irving wishes he was on this tour right now. So here's Chestnut Street, again, beautiful brick row houses. Okay. And again, the brick goes right down to the brick sidewalks. Thankfully, we have all these nice tree pits and these beautiful trees that are just adding a lot of green space and green, lush green to the atmosphere of the neighborhood. So here's one of the little you can drive through alleys, and there are actual homes off of that. Again, you have your granite cobblestones. And here we are at Charles Street. This right here is the Beacon Hill Bistro and Hotel. Not huge, again, very tiny neighborhood, very tiny hotels, restaurants. Little antique stores, Devonia, great owner of that store, she's wonderful. The wine cellar, you have DeLuca's Market right here, all the produce out front. The wine and cheese section over here. And of course, wouldn't be a great tour or a great neighborhood if you didn't have a Starbucks, right? So we're almost concluding our little tour of the south slope of Beacon Hill in Boston. And we're going to end it with a nice pan of the Boston Common. And as you come across this way, if I don't get killed in the intersection, this is the Public Garden. Well, you'll see the John Hancock again in the distance. That's the old one. And then the newer one is the taller building. And then you have Beacon Street here. And actually, you know what? I think we're going to take a little walk down Beacon Street here really quick, because we're going to show you Cheers. I'm sure you're all familiar with the 80s sitcom called Cheers. Well, this is where it was, the front of the building was used. And I gotta tell you, it might have been where everybody knows your name, but the nice part is, as locals, we go in there because it's someplace that nobody knows your name. Here's some beautiful buildings. Here's some limestone. It's got the wrought iron window boxes out front. Oh, that's great. You're going to be here on Saturday. Hopefully it'll be nice weather for the fireworks on the 4th of July. So as you can tell, there's kind of a common theme around here in terms of wrought iron, brick, and limestone, granite. Great windows here. These are kind of a rounded box window. We also have bay windows, which this is right here that sticks off. It's got three-sided, it's faceted. And you can see the awning that's up ahead here. That is actually the Hampshire House. That's the building that Cheers is in. And you can definitely tell it's a holiday weekend because there's a lot of tourists out. And there you go. Cheers. If you ever get a chance to come into Boston, and definitely check out the Hampshire House and Cheers. The Hampshire House is a beautiful venue, beautiful location. I had Christmas dinner there a couple years ago, overlooking the Public Garden, which is amazing. And that concludes our tour for today. I hope you enjoyed the little bit of a tour of the South Slope and the Public Garden, Boston Common. And check out more of information. You can find it at unitboston.com, and it gives a little bit of a description of all the neighborhoods in the area. And look for us next Thursday at about the same time, 2 o'clock, and I'll be in a different neighborhood. Till then, cheers.